Hey man, I'm jamming out here at Sabra Johnson City Classic Cars. Man, I believe in music and the atmosphere in the shop. They got it going on. That's just my thing. When I walk in, I wanna kind of move. I wanna do something, man. I wanna walk in no quiet shop with the tools going. I wanna hear tools. I wanna hear grinding. I wanna hear all that. But I got to hear some music in the background. That old James Brown right there. So you gotta hear that, and it's perfect when the team know you and you know the team, and we work together. Hey, I'm at City Class Cars. I'm on the west side of Houston, Texas, and I want to talk to you today. Where are my builders? I want to talk to you about how to build a team. I want to talk to you about leaders. I want to talk to you about team development, I should say, and how to come together, and how that amalgamation comes together, and how the synergy of, hey, we can do more together than we can ever do apart. I want to talk to you about that. I want to help you get there. That's my objective today. Now, here's the main thing I want you to hear. If you don't hear anything else, I know you might not listen to the whole thing. Hey, man, leaders are made, they're not born. Teams are built. You can't buy them. Okay, you say, yeah, you can. Well, look at why the Dallas Cowboys ain't win no championship. Why the Phoenix Suns? They got Kevin Durant. They got Booker. I mean, why they didn't win? You can't build it. I saw an episode, or I saw a feature rather, and it said the longest tenured players in the NBA. The first one with the same team. The first one was a guy by the name of Steph Curry. The second one was a guy by the name of Clay. And the third one was a person by the name of Draymond. Now, isn't it ironic that all three of those individuals play on the same team? See, someone that in that organization understands that teams are built. My builder, listen to me. You got it. You have that it factor. You have that special something. I don't care if you in the garage. I don't care if you on the shade tree like my uncle them used to be. Man, they used to be under that big oak tree, old chain up there. They ain't had no real horse, and they jacking the engines out. Man, I just look at them. Drinking and cussing and fussing, and hey, baby, they was living the dream. So I don't care where you are in your lot, your spot, your trajectory, the place on the ladder. No matter where you are in this aftermarket space of building cars, I want you to know that you can absolutely make it. You can make it all the way up to the top. But to do that, you're going to need a team. Now, the exciting part of that, teams are built. They're not born. So I'm going to give you some quick tips on how to build a team, how to develop the team, how to manage the team, and all that. First thing I'm going to tell you, I got to talk it quick. I can't teach it to you right now. Find out your shop rate. Once you find out your shop rate, I want you to set 3 scales. I want you to set a top, a middle, and a bottom. The way you set the top, I want you to set the top, and this is someone who's capable, someone who's qualified, someone that we call a runner. And I'll teach you about that in a little bit, in this moment, a little bit later. But you want to hire your runners, and your runners are supposed to be your top folk. And whatever your scale is. But here's the reality. Your top is no more than 33%. Do you know how many shops are going out of business? They have everything in place. I listen to them. They have everything in place. They have one problem. They're giving away more than a third of their labor. There's no way. Listen, let me explain something to you. It's going to cost you the cost of goods. It's going to take about 66%, between 60 and 70% of what shop you at, just to build a car. 60 to 70% is going to go to raw goods. It's going to go to labor. It's going to go to materials. It's going to go to supplies. It's going to go to parts. A minimum of 70%. We're not talking about overhead. We're not talking about marketing. We're not talking about uniforms. We're not talking about going back in a circle. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about that there's a cost to produce that. A lot of people get caught up in how much is restoration? And I get it from the consumer side, but from the business side, you need to find out how much is restoration. Because it's going to be between 60 and 70%. That's just going to be your raw goods cost. It's going to be your cost of goods to do it. Depending on where you are, what your price point is going to be, and all that kind of good stuff. And so anyway, let me come back to what I'm saying. So therefore, there's only so much. You're making pennies now. You're making a percentage. That's all your profit margin is in this business. But it's like the grocery store. The grocery store might only make 1 to 3%. But look at that volume HEB making. Boy, they making all the money. At least that's my perspective from the outside looking in. So you set your shop rate. That should already be set. If you do not have your shop rate you're going to have to develop a shop rate. Now, what's your shop rate? And if you listen to me, it's make it $100. Mine $115. Make it $100. I don't care where you live. Make it $100. You cannot effectively hire, because watch this. If your shop rate is $100 and you're giving away a third of your labor, that's no more. Your top guy's making $33. But really, when you start talking taxes and all that, that top guy's going to be about $27, $28. That way you leave some percentage points in there for taxes and workers' comp and some of this other stuff. Then if you want to do insurance, you take it on down a little bit more because you got to leave those percentage points in there. And that means that guy's highly productive. He is productive 100% of the time. Well, you're not going to have some downtime. So that's going to shave a few more points off. So you might start talking about $25 on base. $25 an hour is going to be your top guy. That's on $100. Now you start basing that pay scale on $50 because you think it sounds good to you. It sounds good. Well, I only charge $50. Yeah. Well, how you going to hire anybody of talent? So set your top, set your mid, and set your bottom. That's the first thing you got to do once you do that. Now, once you get that, you got the talent, you got the people in place. Now, this is what you have to do. You have to hire team players and not superstars. You have to allow, everyone is a superstar. So everyone got that dog in them. Everyone got something in them. At least most do. In this business and in this space, you just got to get there. And so what am I looking for? I'm looking for proven talent that on my top side, I'm looking for proven talent that understands that this is my business, that understands that this is my brand, understands that I set the SOPs, I set the policies. There's a build process that I have, and what I'd like for you to bring to the table is your specialized skill set. And for that, I will pay you above market rate to help me serve my vast clientele pool, and so that we can get this done in a pace that makes sense for the client. So that's what it's doing. It's a trading system. It's a bartering system. You give them a check, they're gonna allow your brand, your company, to benefit from their talent. So that's on the top side of that. But what am I looking for? I'm looking for individuals that want to be a part of a team. And like now, we're in Texas, so I'm gonna give you some old cowboy talk. Baby, you got to be able to ride for this brand now. See, you got to be able to ride for this brand. This is who we're riding for right now. It's fine where you worked at before. It's fine you've been on TV. It's fine you did that. I don't really have a problem with that. You know, can you imagine dating a woman and every time you meet, she talk about the last boyfriend? Can you imagine dating a guy? Because I know ladies are listening too, and you're talking to the guy, and every time you go to dinner, he says, well, she held a fork a little bit different. Well, she would drink this wine. You'd be like, well, she ain't here right now. Well, it's the same thing there with an employee. You want individuals with a resume, but you want individuals who are ready to help you and your brand go to that next level. That's really what it's all about. So you got to find your top. Then you got to find your middle. Get your pay scale in the middle, and make sure there's maybe a 20% gap between those two. Between the top and the middle, you want a 20% gap. And on your entry level position, you might be at double. You know, so you might set your top guy at $35 an hour or $45 an hour, depending on your shop rate ultimately. Your next guy might be, the shop rate might be 25 to 30. I mean, their salary rate might be 25 to 30 an hour when you average it all up. And your entry level position might be, I don't know, 15 to 20. See, something like that. But you got to figure out what's your bottom. You know, and so I won't get into mine and all that, but I don't have a $12 guy. It just doesn't work for my model. And they make my hair great. And so I don't want my hair to get a little great. So you need a little bit of skill set when I come. You need to be teachable when you come to me. All right, but I want you to look for someone who has that team spirit, that team mentality. Then the last thing is I want you to get somebody who's available. Team spirit, make sure they're going to ride for your brand. And then they got to be available. I don't want to hear all that you can't come to work and your cousin got something going on. And, hey, man, I'm not interested in that, baby. Hey, let's get it. How many days we going to get it? 5. How many days we going to be off? 2. How many days I expect you to get it? 5. How many days a year? Every day we work, I expect for you to be here. And if you can't come, I want 2 weeks notice, man. This is a business. This ain't no hobby. So I want you to approach it that way. Now, so you get that. That's just the foundation. That's just the foundation. Teams are built. They're not, I'm at 10 minutes, so I better hurry up. Teams are built. They're not developed. they're not born, is what I should say. So you got to build that team. I'm gonna give you 4 tips to help you build that team, and I think it's gonna help you and all that. All right, the first one I'm gonna tell you, you got a crowd. Now, then you got a committed level, and then you got your inner core. That's gonna be very important. Where is this? Is this group in the crowd, or is this group part of your production crowd? Where are they? Are they just out there? But when they first come in your company, they can't be so intimate. See, they become a part of your production crowd. And that's a group of employees that you don't know very well. They're new to the company. And so you got to let them prove themselves. Let them develop themselves. Let's see what they got. So you're going to have employees in that spectrum, if you will. And then you're going to have some employees, man, that's going to become a part of your committed group. I mean, these are the ones you can count on. These are the ones who are here for you. They're there for the SOP. Let me tell you something else. Man, your team follows a leader. So I don't want to leave you out of this equation. You have to be the leader. Now, how do you be a leader? You tell them, hey, man, here's my dream. Man, I want to be the baddest guy on the planet. You know what I mean? I want to have all systems in-house. I want to bring upholstery in-house. I got this vision. I see 2 shops. I want to anchor in the 4th largest city in the nation. I want to anchor in this major market they call Houston, Texas. And I don't want to just anchor. I want to run that show. I want to be the mayor of the town, baby. I want to own that thing. I want to dominate the aftermarket. I want to show them how to build a car. But I want to build everything in-house. I don't want to sub out paint. I don't want to sub out chassis. I don't want to sub out body. I don't want to sub out metal. I don't want to sub out design. I don't want to sub out finishes. I don't want to sub out automotive. But what I need, man, I see an army. I see a squad behind me. I see misfits. I see tattoos. I see folks with lumps in their life. I see individuals that had problems and trouble in their life. And man, I got a plan. God gave it to me, put it in my heart. I have a vision. I have a process. I'm willing to spend that money now and get the right facility. I'm willing to spend that money and get the right equipment. I'm willing to give you vacation. I'm willing to pay you that long money. You know, I want you to make 6 figures. I want you to have all your needs met and some of your wants. But I need some dogs. I need some individuals that know how to do that thing. And I want you to come under this brand. I'm going to pay for your uniforms. You're going to put them on. I'm just out of vision, man. I'm just out here in the wilderness by myself crying. See, it's just what I want to do one day, man. When I get big and I grow up, I want the baddest shop on this side of heaven, man. I want to build some car, make a grown man blush. I want to build a car, man, that's so bad when the man, the woman fighting cancer and cancer in their body and they got to drive or ride to their chemo, they say pull that thing out and put, you see what I'm talking about? See, that's what people follow. So I want you to have passion about your vision. And I want you to speak your vision. I want you to share your vision over your team. Because what's going to happen, they're in the crowd, man. They're watching you. So a great crowd, they're watching you. I understand that. You better understand that. But then they'll move to the point, once they start respecting and seeing what you bring to the table, then they start becoming really committed and locked into that thing. And then when they see you, man, they really been here and they seen that consistency, then they become a part of your core. Them folks ain't going nowhere. Hey, they can not get paid for money. They ain't going nowhere. Man, you can have negative publicity, good publicity. Them people ain't going nowhere. Clients can come and go. Them people ain't going nowhere. Other staff can come and go. Them people ain't going nowhere. But how do they get there? They got to follow you. You have to lead this team. For you to make it, you got to put yourself in them. You have to deposit yourself in your team. You got to get in their psyche, get in their mind. And you got to tell them how you think. What's your favorite color? What's your shoe size? Not literally, but kind of. They got to know you. See, my core, not the dude who just got here, but my core, and time does not give you the core. That's not how you get in my core. You got to be about what I'm about. You got to be about this brand. You got to be about my clients. You got to be about serving. You got to lay down and die every day you walk in this shop, man. All right, but I want you to build a team. Now, the last thing I tell you, how are you going to manage this team? See, got them going. How you gonna manage the team? Yes, I believe you should get a process. If you don't have one, borrow mine, baby. I don't care. Use it. Use it. Now you got a process. We together. You better get your philosophy. You don't have a philosophy, get mine. Number 1 is what? Safety. Number 2 is function. Number 3 is what? Beauty. Now you got your philosophy. Edit any of that you want. You got your process. And now you got your philosophy. Let's go get it, baby. Now you're ready. Now all you got to do now, you got a philosophy. You got a process. Now all you need now is walk with that passion. See, every time you enter, bring me that passion. Let them see that passion. When you bring that passion to the table, man, you're going to see that team building. Now, here's the last thing you got to do. Here's the last thing you got to do. And it is hard. Man, sometimes you got to understand it's joy and pain. See, when that team gets out of line, someone has to hold them accountable. I call it TST. You got to be tough. You got to be smart. You got to be tender, too. And that's hard. TST, man. When you're dealing with this team, sometimes you got to be tough. Man, I walk in, I don't have no problem. Hey, baby, I want you to get on Greyhound. Man, why you want to get on Greyhound? Because they'll take you anywhere away from me. You're fine. Your number's up, baby. That's it. Thank you. God bless you. Sometimes you got to be tough. Sometimes you got to, that toughness come in and say, hey, man, that's not how I'm going to do it. Now, I gave you the policy. I gave you the SOP. Now, you're going to do it my way or you're going to hit the highway. Sometimes you got to be tough. But then sometimes you got to be smart. You got to be smart. So the guy who is, you got to find out what they're good at. And you put your team in those places where they can always excel. No one wants to be corrected every day. No one wants to learn every day. No one wants to be told they don't know what they're doing every day. Nobody wants to go through that process. So therefore, it's going to be very important that you put them in the right spot. But then sometimes you got to be tenderhearted. You're going to get burned. You know, old preacher, old Dr. C.L. Jackson, the Dome preacher in Houston, Texas, he got saved on back of a dump truck. Great man of God, great friend, mentor. But anyway, he gone on to be with the Lord. We'll see him at another time. He like to say, hey, y'all, the very one you help out the dumpster, soon as they get out the dumpster, they'll slam your hand in the dumpster. And what happen is, when you have employees burn you, man, I have employees burn me, disgruntled, lying, I mean, just jealous. Because jealousy and envy come with this game. So what I do is make it hard if you're not careful. Man, you be hard to work for. You just hard. You don't smile, you don't laugh, you don't hug, you can't, you're not sensitive. You think every time somebody's off, they're looking for a job. You just, you burn. My mama liked to say, burnt child scared of fire, baby. You've been burned before, you're scared of fire. So we have to make ourselves tender. We have to remain tender. And sometimes, to remain tender, you have to get out of the way and stop making executive decisions. Watch this. Don't make the executive decision, but write in your SOPs and write in your policies some tenderness in there. You know, give them some action steps. Give them an action plan so that they can make it. But there comes a time when you as the leader of this team, I got a guy, I won't call his name. He don't work but once a week. If he listening, he know I'm talking about him. But I won't find. Sometimes he work 4 days a week, going through something. Lost his daddy, man, and we his daddy now, you know. And it's a little tough, man. And hey, man, he on the team. That's all I can say. Don't ask me no questions about it. God gave him grace, man. If God gave him the grace, hey, my hands tied anyway, baby. So you gotta be tender. Now, the last thing I'm saying, I got to go. I'm going back to that tough part. I know I got to go. I hope I'm helping you, though. Listen, man, you got 4 people on your team. I want you to put them in these buses. Are you listening? Number 1, you got them riders, man. Riding the bus, going to school. Then you got them walkers. They just walking. They like to walk. You know, just walking. And then you got, I'm going to call them talkers too. See, that go together. But then the other ones you have is they joggers. I like them joggers, baby. Then you got them joggers. You know, I might get tired now, but you got them joggers. But then you got them others, boy. You got them Usain Bolts. You know, they get down like Dion. They can go. They can run, man, like a cheetah. You know what I'm talking about? Let me tell you something. I like them dogs, yeah. So on my team, man, let me tell you what I got. When I say I got some dogs, I got some runners, baby. They gonna run, they gonna go get it. They gonna go get it, man. Any day of the week, they gonna go get it. That's why even when the weather bad, boy, they coming to work. Hey, Mr. Johnson, I made it. I'm here. Am I the only one? Nah, it's 4 more beat you there, man. It's just different. They built like that. And then you got them joggers. I'll tolerate a walker. Rider, they get fired immediately. All right, real quick, I know I'm over time. Now, let me help you. A rider is someone who just want to take from your company. I don't care how much money you pay them. They will ride your bus and don't want to do a darn thing. They don't care about you. They don't care about your clientele pool. They don't care about your process. They don't even care about their check. They just have a taker spirit. Just a low down kind of employee mentality. Man, let me tell you what you do with those China individuals. Man, you get them off your property. You get them out of your facility as fast as you can. You pay them double the lead. You get rid of them. I don't care who. You don't want riders on your team, especially in this business. Work too hard. The other one that's going to be very, very important, you're going to have walkers. Now, a walker, everybody may start as a walker. Because when they first come into your series, I'm new. I've been building cars a long time. I own one of the largest shops. But if I came and worked for you, I might be a walker for the first few hours or the first day because I got to figure everything out. So walking in of itself is not wrong. And I like new people to walk. I don't like new people come in and run. Hey, man, what you doing? You know you just got here. No. That's not how I do it, baby. Well, I didn't know. Well, you should have asked, don't you think? You can't run. You ain't been for 5 minutes. So you want them walking initially. Now, I have a lot of guys that are over 55 on my team. And so it's okay. See, they're going to be so efficient. But they ain't running down the hill. You don't know if you heard the story about the old bull and the young bull. I don't have time to tell you here. But all I can say is that old bull, he ain't running down the hill. But boy, when he get there, he going to handle business. It's the same thing with a senior technician. He's not going to be running across the shop on the other. He ain't finna do all that, or she. But what the technician will do, they're going to produce. They're going to produce when they get there. Now, the other two that you really want to have probably 80% of your company built around, and I hope I'm helping you, is you want those joggers and you want those runners. So let me tell you something about a jogger. A jogger needs reassurance. You got to tell, hey, you're doing a good job today. Appreciate you. Hey, man, I saw what you did on that cab. I want you to know it's absolutely amazing. I'm talking about with a capital A, baby. Big dog, I see you over there. You got to encourage them. It's just where they are. They have the talent. They have the skill. But man, you gotta encourage them. You gotta let them know, baby, you're doing that thing. That's the key. If you don't encourage and give verbal assurance to a jogger, you'll have a problem with a jogger. You'll have turnover in your jogger pool. So you have to give joggers verbal assurance. If you give them verbal assurance, you're gonna find great success. The second thing that you're gonna have in that sequence is not only do you have to give the joggers verbal assurance, the other thing you're gonna see, if you have runners, what a runner will do, they will run, they make some mistakes. You know, it's kind of like a fast break basketball team. What's gonna happen? Remember Magic Johnson back in the day, boy, they had turnovers. Look at the stats. They had some turnovers, but they were scoring so fast. You can't score that fast and not have turnovers. What about a quarterback throwing 60 touchdowns a year? Well, he's going to have a few interceptions. They kind of go with it. So anyway, I hope that helps you. We're talking about building a team. Remember that teams are built. They're not born.